All right, people. Season
All right,
2,
the
episode 18.
playoffs. We're knee deep in the playoffs.
Playoffs.
Yeah,
Wow. What a weekend. What a week. I feel like
right,
it's Saturday or Sunday, but I know it's not.
right,
Unbelievable games, man. I mean, some of them were blowouts, some of them were riveting, but the competition is first rate, man. I mean,
right.
you can like we're Maryland lovers, Maryland alums, Maryland fans, and we are nowhere close to these days. I mean, we
Hmm.
are light years behind. We're like too deep behind them. Like our ones are their threes,
Right,
right? I mean, we
right,
like Michigan's twos and threes beat Alabama. Our twos and threes couldn't beat Alabama high school,
right,
right? So it's
right.
unbelievable, man. Sporting Ohio State, I thought they had a really convincing win, probably the best win of the weekend, obviously, or the week. And then Notre Dame, the second biggest win, I think, over Georgia. I mean, even with a second string quarterback, Georgia is still, I mean, Georgia's
Good.
still Georgia, man. They're
Right.
unbelievable. So we'll recap all the games. That was just a quick snippet of it. You want to say anything real quick?
I guess we're not going to do an obituary this week in
Okay.
deference to the um, terrible tragedy in New Orleans.
Okay.
That's the only administrative item.
That's fair. All right. So the portal's up to 2,300 kids, 827 committed, 35% committed. So, roughly 1,500 kids are in the win right now to
Right,
go home.
right,
61 of them withdrew and came back, which is great for them. That was a smart move, probably. And comparing to last year's numbers at this time, it was 3,100 kids were in the portal, and 2,249 had committed. So the numbers are down, which is probably a good thing, right? What do you think about that? The numbers are down by 1,000.
I think it's good. It's good for the players. Stability's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're getting paid at the school they're at, is what's going on.
Right,
They're going to their coach saying, I want to stay. I love it here. I got a girlfriend here. My family
right,
comes to the games here.
right,
But I need to get paid X, right? And the coach is
right,
probably like, okay, I'll pay you this. And then he's got to weigh out the X to transferring to Oregon, for instance, an East Coast
right,
kid going to Oregon. Do you want to do that and basically get more money, but your quality of life sucks? Or you want to go to the portal and know the unknown? You don't know where you're going.
right,
And you could end up at, Texas State,
right.
or someplace
Or
that feel
Missouri.
or Mizzou. Just
Mhm.
terrible. Columbia.
Right.
So really interesting. One really quick note on the portal that I have because I have some insider info on it is that Maryland for the first time took a portal kid back. Once a
Oh,
kid goes
okay.
in the portal at Maryland, they're done.
Right,
Locks up the key. He says goodbye, see ya,
right,
get your stuff, give me your keypad. We're done with you, right?
right,
But this kid, Le'Veon Johnson, went in the portal, dipped his toe, and realized, wow, it's hard in here. It's not only hard, but there's a lot of people coming at you looking for their piece. And this I got directly from the coaching staff. One of the coaches is a buddy of mine. So he's like, he went in there and agents were calling him saying, all right, this is what I got for you. Here's what I want. I can get you this deal if you pay me this. And he said he was just like, oh my God, I didn't realize it was like this. And came back to Maryland and begged to come back on the team. And Locks did bring him back for the first time ever. I mean, he didn't bring back Chop Robinson, who was, first round draft pick, and
right,
he wanted to come back too. And he said
right.
no. Um, because he really
Don't
needs
talk about
it.
Chop Robinson.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
sore subject.
Yeah. He's a position of need, and he's going to be a star next year. And everyone knows he's going to be a star. And he was going to get paid wherever he went, but he came back and Locks took him back because he really needed him. He's a defensive tackle. So I'm glad he's coming back. And I'm glad Locks softened his stance on it because you got to be flexible in this environment, man. I mean, you don't know what the hell's going on day to day.
Right. It's the
And
Wild West.
yeah. So I just wanted to bring that portal
Right.
story
Good.
up.
That's good info. Good work, Fernando.
Yeah. Yeah. So playoff standings. Here we go, Nick. Talk to me. What do we got, buddy?
So we got the number 6 seed Penn State took out the number 3 seed Boise State.
right?
And then you got number 4 seed Arizona State, and lost to the number 5 seed Texas in a thriller. The
Yeah.
number 8 seed Ohio State. That's right. They're number 8. I guess they were against the
Oregon.
Oregon, the number 1 seed. That we all know how that went with the crushed them. And number 7 seed Notre Dame just beat the number 2 seed Georgia.
Okay, so now we got Ohio State playing Texas in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas
Right.
at the fairgrounds, Nick, a place that we have to go to.
Is that at the fairgrounds or is that Jerry World?
Oh, it's probably at Jerry World.
Yeah.
It should be at the fairgrounds, though.
Right.
I think it's at Jerry World. You're right.
Right.
Um, which is a huge, huge advantage for Texas. Okay.
Right.
But Ohio State will travel and
Right.
pay top dollar for a ticket. They don't care.
Right.
And then you got Penn State playing Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl. And that's going to be a 50-50 fan base experience, I think. Because Notre Dame travels, Penn State travels.
Right.
The locals are not showing up at that game. That's going to be all out of towners. That's going to be a boom for Miami. It's going to be a big economic boom for them. So happy to see those two in it. Whoever was there, even Georgia, Penn State would have been a great game. Now Boise, Georgia would have been a terrible game, but this, I
No,
think,
this is the TV executives are loving
oh,
these
they're
matchups.
chomping at their lips. Look at that.
Right. I mean,
Ohio State, Texas, and Penn State, Notre Dame.
right.
Three like four monsters in college
Right.
football. Top 10 monsters of college football.
Right.
And top 10 teams with the most money
Right.
and the biggest nil budget.
Right.
Just saying. Well, we've been
Right.
saying all season that who has the money. And I went back and looked at our season episode 1 from this season when we talked about who would be in the finals, and I picked Ohio State to win it all. And I think you either had Georgia or Texas to win it all because we saw where the money and the cards were.
Right.
So
Right.
we're
Well,
right in
Ohio
it.
State's a good pick. Well done.
Yeah. Well, they loaded up this year, right?
Right.
They loaded up. All
Right.
right. So here's some interesting facts. Um, Smaller schools, when they play in these bowl games, Nick, they play them to win, man. I don't, I mean, I watched a lot of bowl games
Right.
this year, most I've ever watched. And I cannot believe how hard they play in these games. ECU, BYU just stomped Colorado. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah.
just threw them in the dirt. Toledo,
Right.
Navy beat Oklahoma. I mean, are
Right.
you Navy beating Oklahoma? In what world is that has ever happened? Never happened.
Right.
Vandy. I mean, just unbelievable. And they all played hard. And to them, it was their championship, right? They were playing like it was, and to the other teams, they were like, whatever. We're in it. We're
Right.
having a good time. If we beat them,
Right.
great. If we don't, we're still getting paid. We're moving on.
Right.
All right, talk to me about the Citrus Bowl with Shane Beamer and Bielema, because I saw some of the jawing
I
back and
don't really
forth.
understand what happened. I guess there's a gentleman's rule about um, calling for the punt where you give a signal to surrender yourself or something like that. I'm not really sure I can't really speak intelligently because I don't really understand what happened. I guess that there's a traditional gentleman's rule that you do something or don't do something, and their punt returner, I guess on South Carolina, bad South Carolina showed up, by the way,
Yeah,
not good South Carolina,
hardy South
which is good.
Carolina, fun South
Yeah.
Carolina.
And I guess by lemma, there was an Illinois player hurt. He went over to check on the player near South Carolina's sideline and did this signal that where he was like mocking Shane Beamer, and Beamer went crazy.
Yeah. So there was earlier blood in that game when Beamer substituted. I
That's
don't.
what it is.
There was that substitution, and then the
Right,
refs let Illinois substitute, and Illinois substituted multiple players and
right,
threw it all the way down. and forced Beamer to call a timeout.
right,
And Beamer went berserk.
right,
Field was like, "What do you want? It's the
right,
Bulls, man." But I hate Shane Beamer. I just do. I just think he's
right.
whiner, man. He's looking for things to whine about. Coach the game, man. You have a
Yeah.
good team.
I
Coach
mean, what
the
are they
team.
doing losing to Illinois? Illinois is good, but
Yeah,
they should beat Illinois.
yeah, they should. They should. Their team didn't show up.
Right.
All right, let's get into some of the playoff games. Arizona, Texas. I
Okay.
I watched that game on tape because I was traveling that day, and I got to be honest with you, Nick. Arizona had plenty of opportunity to win that game. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I mean,
3 trips into the red zone, 3 points.
yeah, they
You can't give that shit up to Texas. You got to take advantage of that.
right. But they made so many plays though, too. I mean, it was like 3rd and 12 in the first overtime, and they like gave the no Levitt like took off and he was like weaving through the entire
Yeah.
Texas defense, and it was just like, holy cow,
But
man,
here's
this is
the I get
crazy.
it. Overtime in the last 7 minutes of the game, they showed up and
Right,
they scored and it drew two-point conversions that sent it in
right,
OT. But if they convert in any of those goal line stands, we're not talking about overtime.
right,
We're talking about a huge win for the program. Huge.
right,
Like
right,
monumental win for that program, right?
right,
I mean, beating Texas, getting to
right,
the semifinals against Ohio State,
right,
that'd be epic for them. But
right.
it just always seemed like Texas was going to win the game to me.
Yeah, they were a 2 touchdown favorite.
Yeah, I mean Texas is fourth and 13 in overtime, and they throw a touchdown.
Right,
I mean, first it was
right,
4th and 8, and then they have a legal procedure. Then it goes to 4th and 13, and still throw the touchdown pass on
right,
and get behind your safety
right,
because of the talents there too. I mean, the talent
right,
of Texas is sick.
right,
You can stop them there, you win the game.
right,
And then Texas scores on the first play, and then Arizona State, they just ran out of miracles, man.
right.
I mean, just ran out of. You can't give a good team that many breaks, man. You just can't. Did you see Penn State, Boise?
I watched that whole game.
All right, I only watched bits and parts of it, so
Okay,
give me a
so
lowdown on that.
okay, so Boise played a solid game, but as you said like months ago, the Nittany Lion defense is serious.
Yeah,
I mean, like Genti had, let me see, 30 carries, 104 yards.
that's
He had
nothing.
one big one. He's tough,
Yeah,
but
he's tough.
they got all 11 guys focused on him, and it's just he can't do much. I mean, Penn State was hurt because Abdul Carter got injured, and he was out at least I think most of the second quarter and second half. So that hurt them. But
Is he out for the Notre
um,
Dame game?
what?
Is he out for Notre Dame?
I think so. I
That's a
don't know.
problem. That's a
They're
problem for
not.
them.
If they're not saying. I think if they're not saying he's out.
He's the bell cow though on their defense.
Right. Right.
Where's the 11th?
Um, let me look at my notes. James Franklin wins games where Penn State's favored. Period. I
He
mean,
does.
8 point favorite, they win. They cover the spread. That's how they roll.
They do, man.
Um,
800 wins
Boise
percentage.
had like the kicker. He had a field goal that he badly shanked. It was way off, and then he missed a field goal in the fourth quarter. They had two picks. The quarterback played okay. Boise, Boise was there. I mean,
You're
they weren't like
outmatched, though. I mean, come
getting,
on.
but getting run over and anything like that. But it's just like Franklin has the two-headed monster of Allen and Singleton in the backfield, and it's just like they just rotate those guys in and out,
Yeah,
and it's just
yeah.
like one guy wears you down, the other guy kills you when you're tired.
It's going to be interesting against Notre Dame when they run those guys in and out against ND
Yeah,
and their run defense, which is tough. Um,
right,
that's going to be a great game next week. I mean, I'm
right.
so excited about it.
Yeah,
I mean, think of Genti, he reminds me of Sanders with his elusiveness and his ability to cut and jump cut. But he also runs a little bit like Goral Campbell, where he is tough to bring down, man. You can't just grab him and
Right,
say, "Oh, I got him." He will
right,
shake you off. I mean, it takes
right.
several guys to bring him down. He is such an NFL player, man. If he
Yeah,
doesn't go in like the top 10, then the running back position's dead in the NFL.
right. But you're right, he's got some fantastic instincts.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Ohio State, Oregon. I watched
All
all of
right.
that.
So this was a nightmare for me betting wise.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a
If I was the
disaster,
bet man, which I
which
am,
I am. And I was like, I feel like I should never discuss college football betting again
you feel
after
shame?
betting on
You feel
Oregon.
shame?
Like you feel shame. You feel shame. I mean, how could you do this? How could
I
you possibly bet on
I,
Oregon?
I liked Oregon too. I didn't see this Ohio State team coming out.
You
I
know?
turned on the TV, watched 5 minutes, and I said, "Uh-oh, we have a problem."
Yeah.
Not only is Ohio State so much more physical than them, and Oregon's trying to finesse them, and Ohio State's punching you in the face every time they can, and
Right.
Oregon's trying to run by you, and Ohio State just punches you and knocks you down.
Right.
They couldn't cover their running back. I mean, the receivers.
Right.
I mean, Smith is he might be the second coming of a bigger Jerry Rice, maybe. I don't even know what to make
Yeah.
of that
A
kid.
stronger, faster Randy Moss,
Right, right. Randy Moss is the perfect comparison. Right. He's
you
Randy
know?
Moss, but faster. Just as
Right.
big as Moss, but faster.
Right.
And then Abuka, obviously, he's great. He's like a 4-year starter. Cardinal
Right.
Lake, a new guy that's really
That's why
good.
I'm so angry with myself
They're
because if you
so
look at
loaded.
Ohio State, they've got like all the starters are like going in the first three rounds of a draft. What
Yeah,
the hell was I thinking?
yeah.
Uh,
They are. And they were favored. So it was like, oh, somebody's throwing me a carrot. Let's jump in on this. This
right.
is the gimme. This is a shitty line. No,
Right.
it was actually a shitty line. It was too low. It should have
Right.
been like
Should have
seven.
been 22 and a half.
No, it should have been should have been seven.
Right. Right.
I have noticed there's a lot of talking going on. I don't know if you've noticed it between the players. Every play ends up in some guy wolfing in some guy's face.
Right.
Have you noticed it?
A little bit. I mean, I think, I don't know if it is it more now than before.
The only one who did it before was Miami, but now
Right.
everyone's doing it. And I think the refs are letting them get away with it a little bit. I think after a touchdown, they're a little bit tighter about it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really give a shit. I
Right.
played, I wolfed when I played. There's
Right.
nothing wrong with a little trash talking. But
Right.
after every play, you're down by 20 and you make a play, you trash talk them, you're down by 20. Look at the
Right.
scoreboard, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the other thing that I've noticed is the placement of the ball after a play, man. The refs are either blind, on the take, or just don't give a shit about, especially when it's near the first down marker. I mean, what do you think of that? Have you seen that?
I didn't look for it, but I'm sure if you saw it, it's there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You-
I've been seeing it. Yeah, I've seen it. It's
I'll
terrible.
look for it next week.
Yeah, it's terrible. And then one thing I mentioned earlier that the twos and the threes on like the really good teams like Michigan are still really good. And I underestimated them against Alabama. But
Right.
Jalen Milrow was a complete what happened to that guy?
I didn't really watch that game.
Oh, I did. I had to because I had some cash on that as well. I mean, what happened to him? I was at the Georgia Bama game, Nick. That guy looked like a lottery pick at that game.
Right.
He looked unstoppable. He didn't miss one pass. He couldn't hit an open guy all day. He had open guys all over the field. Even at the end, when they fourth down, they're down 13-19. He's got a guy right down the middle, right at the goal line, wide open. He shorts it to his ankles. I
Right.
was like, "Are you kidding me?" I mean, he cost himself some money because
Right.
the scouts are looking at it saying, "Okay, so this guy doesn't have it. He's
Right.
probably a third, fourth round pick instead of a first round pick." Which is
Right.
he probably made some money from Alabama, obviously.
Right.
And then all the teams that took the buys, Nick, all lost.
Right.
Wow, we had that wrong.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Well,
what do you say about that? I mean, unbelievable.
like you said, the superpowers are tough. I mean, it's hard. Ohio State, I should just stop talking because there's no way I thought Ohio State would roll Oregon badly, and they
Yeah.
did. I mean, Oregon had like minus 20 yards rushing.
Minus 20?
They had minus yards when
Oh
you add in
God.
the sacks on Gabriel.
Yeah. Oh, they were all over him. He
Yeah,
had no time to throw the ball.
right,
And he's a little guy, so he had time. He had a hard time looking over the line too.
right,
Because Ohio State's big up front. Yeah.
right,
That wasn't great, man. It wasn't a good look. The whole thing was just I Ohio State stepped up, man, but like what we said, the teams in the Final Four, Ohio State, Penn State, Texas, and Notre Dame, as Mike Cook at Notre Dame told me when the nil thing hit, and I reached out to him, he said to me, it's all that matters now in college sports.
right,
All that matters. This is a guy who runs Notre Dame's money. It's all
right,
that matters. That was 3 years ago.
right.
There you go.
There you go.
And the top four teams are in the top 10 of money spenders. So
Right.
unbelievable. All right, let's go through the picks because
All right.
it wasn't a great week for either of us.
Yeah. I don't
Um,
even want to. It's like getting back a bad exam in school. I don't even want to know.
some of these games were really good. Like I told you, I watched a lot of them.
Right.
Toledo Pitt, that went back and forth. I think
Right.
multiple overtimes, 48-46. Toledo beat them. We both
Right.
liked Pitt. Toledo was tough, man. They played them like it was their Super Bowl.
Right.
Um, K-State, they beat Rutgers, but Rutgers played them tough without their star running back, and lost 44-41. That was a good game as well. I mean, Shiano, he's got him playing hard, man. They're not very
Yeah.
talented.
His team always does well in the bowl games.
Yeah. 21-20, Navy beat Oklahoma. Now, in Oklahoma's defense, they went for two to win the game at the end and
Right.
didn't get it. We both picked Navy there, so we won that one. Oh no,
Right.
we didn't win that because Navy was favored by 3.
Right.
That started as an Alabama minus +5 and moved because all the Oklahoma guys were out of the game, and
Right.
Navy favored by 3. That was an 8-point move on the line, and we both put Navy, which won but didn't cover. Vandy beat Georgia Tech. That was a really good game, 35-27. Arkansas beat Texas Tech
Yeah. Killed him.
49-26. That was a good call on your part. I didn't think they'd show up or care about the Liberty Bowl, but they did. They played hard. That was a good win for them. Um, I love the Syracuse team, man. I thought they finished strong for the year,
Right.
and I know you love Kyle McCord. He looked great. He had like 400 yards passing. I picked
Right.
them. You picked Wazoo, but I picked Cuse. And they covered. They won by 17, I guess, and they were 16.5 point favorites.
Right.
Right on the number they covered. A&M lost to USC 35-31. This one cost me some cash.
Yeah. It cost me some good amount of cash
I
too.
had a four-teamer. I was
Right.
down to this game, and I was up, and it was 1:30 in the morning. Texas A&M is up 24-7. I get a cash out option of $344. Okay.
Right.
The winning ticket's like 427. And I was like, nope, I'm gonna stick it to him for every penny.
Right.
And then it turned.
Right.
And, and USC found something.
Right.
And they win the game 35-31. I almost threw up at the end of that game. I was
Right. It was
a,
pretty. It was a brutal game.
a
Brutal.
bad beat. 20, I
Right.
was up till 2:15 in the morning,
Right.
and I barely could go to sleep after that. It was horrible. We
Right.
both picked Iowa State getting 3 because we thought Miami was going to sit out Cam Ward. He ended up playing, but only a half of the game. I think if he plays the whole game, they probably win that game, don't
Right.
you think? He
I
looked
don't know.
really good. He looked really good, though. He
Yeah.
looked really good. He's an NFL quarterback. He's
Right.
legit. And then BYU Colorado, which I didn't watch. I think you watched it, right?
I watched that one.
What do you got on that? 'Cause
You know,
BYU stomped them.
BYU, Sitake, he's, a solid, he's kind of like the Rocky Mountain version of Shiano. Give him time and he'll get his team straight. And that's what
At BYU, they're 11-2 this year. Give them
yeah.
time. They're
But he had
11 and
time.
2,
Like they
man.
had lost to Arizona State and they lost to somebody else late in the
Iowa State.
season, Iowa State, and he was like, no problem. I know I can tell. I don't even know the guy, but I can tell he was probably like telling the team, "Don't worry, I'll get everything straight. Everybody relax. We've got time to prep for the bowl game, and we're
Yeah.
gonna win." And he did.
They stomped
Yeah.
Colorado. And
Right.
Prime was talking a lot of junk before the game, saying all my
Right.
kids are playing, everyone's playing, everyone's playing. We're gonna be prepared. We're gonna be prepared. They weren't prepared.
Right.
So they got beat badly. Missouri beat Iowa 27-24. I took
Right.
Missouri there, and and you took Iowa, right? Yeah, you took
Yeah.
Iowa. We both liked Alabama. I mean, we got them at 10.5. That's when we looked at the line. It ballooned all the way up to 16.5 by game time.
Right.
And Michigan just beat them outright, man.
Right.
I watched a lot of that game and I was just disgusted by
Yeah.
Milroe and his performance. And Michigan played hard and tough, but they had no business beating Alabama. Zero.
Right.
If Alabama just gave a little bit of effort, they win that game going away.
Right.
Um, Carolina, South Carolina, 9.5 point favorites against Illinois. They lose straight
Bad
up
South Carolina.
at
Yeah.
South Carolina. We both took USC thinking, oh, Atlanta have no chance. I mean,
Yeah.
all their guys are playing, including their quarterback. They're going to kill them. They
Right.
didn't.
Right.
Both liked LSU because their quarterback was playing. They won big,
Right.
44-31. Um, we both like Boise in the 10.5, man. And I thought they'd keep it close, which, I mean, they make a couple field goals, make a play or two. It's a 10
Yeah, the
point
two
game.
missed field goals killed him.
Yeah, it's a 10 point game, and we're right in it. And
Right,
didn't happen 31-14 Penn
right.
State. Texas, Arizona State. We both liked Arizona State. We thought it was too many points. We got that. 14 was too much. At the beginning, I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
We're gonna lose by 40.
Yeah. But in the first 5 minutes, they were down 14-3.
Right.
But then Texas offense, you know what, Nick? They didn't really do much. They had a punt return and a pick six, right, for a touchdown or a
There's part of the
fumble
game that
six.
I was in and out, so I don't know the whole story.
So their offense had a fumble six and a kickoff return for a touchdown or a punt return for a touchdown. So their offense really didn't do much until later in the game in the
Right.
overtime. And their
Yeah.
kicker missed two field goals in the last minute and a half,
Right.
which would have sealed the win.
Right.
I mean, they gave Arizona State
Yeah.
17 opportunities to beat them, and they
It was
couldn't
a
do
brutal betting beat. If you bet the under,
it.
just brutal.
I had three friends say that to me during the game when that field goal went off the clanker, you know?
Yeah.
They were like, oh, there goes the under.
Oh man,
To
it
get
was
that story, it
brutal.
was 53.5. The
Right.
game was 24-24. And and Texas winning, kicking a field goal in the last, like, whatever, 7 seconds of the game. They make the field
Right.
goal, they win, and the under hits, right?
Right.
And they clanked it off the field goal post. The
Right.
kicker, who's like all American, he's 4 year starter, he's the best kicker
Right.
in the country, blah blah
Right.
blah. Clanks went off the field goal post, and this is where I get back to you can't trust these kids, man. They're gambling, their friends are gambling,
Right.
they're in somebody's pocket. There's something going on there.
Right.
And then of course it goes into OT, and then somebody scores, and the over's done. Then
Right.
the under's done.
Right.
That's a bad beat.
Right.
That's
That's a
known as
very
a
big, yeah.
bad beat. And then the game of the week, I finally lost them. Game of the week, I'm 14-3 now.
All
We both
right.
really liked Oregon getting two and
Yeah.
a half. We thought they would win by 7 or 10.
The whole thing's depressing, man.
Ohio State just mauled them. I mean,
Yeah.
they absolutely boat raced them from the
Right.
beginning to the end. They never let them come up for air ever. And Oregon's a good team, man. Oregon,
Right.
there are no slouches. Just Ohio State's just better.
Right.
And then, of course, the Notre Dame game that just finished, unbelievable game. Game went back and forth. I like the under. I like Notre Dame. You like the under. We both hit on that 23-10. Went under and Notre Dame won. So, and it was a road trip game to game because of New Orleans, but turns out it wasn't a great road trip if you were in New Orleans with what happened
Right.
in
Right.
Bourbon,
Very,
man.
very sad.
But by the way, Bourbon Street's open tonight though.
All right.
2 days after 15 people died, they're open for business,
Right.
which is that's another topic for another time.
Right.
I'm a little surprised. Like if that
Right.
happened in Maryland, Bourbon Street would no longer exist. They would close down that whole street, pay off every business on the street, and that street would be poured over with concrete. It would never
Right.
exist. But in New Orleans, 2 days later, they're firing on all cylinders.
Right.
So God bless them. Um, all right, here we go. You ready?
Ready.
Week 18, we got 5 games left. And we're going to start with the game today, which the show should have been filmed yesterday, but with a delay of the Orange Bowl of the Orange Bowl, the Sugar
Sugar
Bowl.
Bowl.
We pushed it back a night, so we don't
Right.
know what's going on with Duke. Ole Miss, we're not watching. But all right, Nick, Duke getting 17 and a half versus Ole Miss.
Yeah, Duke.
Yeah, I kind of like Duke too. I think Ole Miss is gonna.
But I mean, Lane Kiffin, but he's been on Twitter like the whole time, like talking trash, you
Yes.
know?
What is up with him? I mean, if his social media presence was as good as his coaching, they would
Right.
be in the national championship game. But
Right.
it's not. Sorry,
Right.
Lane. All right. Minnie giving up 8.5 in the Mayo Bowl against Virginia Tech.
Mini. Strong mini. PJ Fleck will probably have his team ready.
Against Virginia Tech in the
Yeah.
Mayo Bowl. Man, I don't like this Tech team. They play soft. I'm going to go Minnie too. I think PJ boat races them.
Right.
Buffalo versus Liberty in the Bahamas Bowl.
I have no idea about this
Give
game. I
me
have
a
no.
pick. I don't want to hear it.
I'll take Buffalo.
Yep, I will too. No, no, no. I will take Liberty. I'll go
Okay.
against you on that one. I'll
All
take
right.
Liberty. Liberty always seems to have a good team, man.
Right.
Um, the Bahamas Bowl, that would be a fun bowl to go play in,
Yeah.
right?
Especially if you're from Buffalo.
Yeah, exactly. All right, then we got the playoff picks. You ready to go?
Ready to
I
go.
got I got line on Penn State, Notre Dame's hot off the presses. I got Ohio State favored by 6 versus Texas.
I've been thinking about this all day. I gotta go with Ohio State.
You do,
Yeah.
even in the Cotton Bowl.
Even in the Cotton Bowl.
So the line started at 6.5. So there's money being thrown at Texas right now. All right, and I'm not going to bet against Ohio State the rest of the year. I think they're the national champs.
Right.
I don't think if they play like they've been playing, no one can beat them.
Right.
It's and they're plus 130 to be national champs. If that
Yeah,
number
they
was
were
like
what were they?
300,
They were plus 400 out of the Michigan game.
yeah, I would have. I should have dropped a little money on that bet.
Right.
I
Right.
didn't know. All right, and then we got Penn State getting 1.5 against Notre Dame. Man,
I'm gonna go with Penn State there.
really?
Yeah.
Damn. What do you see there to pick Penn State?
Um, best defense on the field.
Whew. I'm gonna take Notre Dame.
Hey, it's
I,
a
I think
good pick. I mean, I'm not. I
uh,
have,
dual Carter being hurt is a problem.
right,
That's a problem for them.
right.
And if he's not playing,
Yeah,
they
you're
got
right. I mean, Notre Dame's offensive line is different than Boise State's offensive
yeah, oh
line.
yeah. Those are
All
some
right, all
big
right,
boys.
all right. I agree with you. You're right. I'll take the Irish.
You sure? I don't want to flip you, man.
No, you're right though. You get a good heads up. The Carter injury is a serious injury.
If it's a serious injury and he's out, they're not the same defense without him.
Right,
He's the bell cow. He's the pressurer.
Right.
Everything revolves around him on defense.
Right.
If he's not playing, Notre Dame's going to run the ball. They're going to throw the ball. I see Notre Dame winning this game by 14, maybe 17. And I see Ohio State boat racing Texas. Texas is like they're like swerving through all the potholes of the playoffs, right?
Right.
I mean, they are just like meandering through, and then they're in the semifinals. And I think they fall into a pothole here against Ohio State. I don't know who they have to cover Jeremiah Smith or Ibuka. And I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I mean,
Maybe they'll get some guys from the Cowboys.
yeah, I mean, their defensive line is stout. Texas defensive line is really stout, and they
Right.
may stop, Henderson. But I don't think they're going to stop those receivers. And if they give Will Howard is a good quarterback when he has no pressure. You pressure him, it's a different Will
Maybe
Howard.
he was making some throws yesterday,
Oh
man.
yeah,
He
yeah,
played
yeah,
a lot better than I thought he was capable of.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. No,
some of
he's
those
possessed.
were right down the pipe.
Apparently, he got some threats after the Michigan game, man. Some guys, those rednecks in Columbus came after him a little bit,
Right.
which was not cool. He's a college kid, but they came after him. But once you start collecting money, man, all bets are off, right?
Right.
I mean, that's all there is to it. You're collecting money now. You're like a professional. You're gonna
Right.
hear some trash, even though in Columbus, I mean, let's go back to like you said about Herb Street. He left the town because he wasn't even
Couldn't take
playing
it anymore.
anymore. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was done. All
Right.
right, do you have a lock, Nick?
I guess Ohio State.
Ohio State, and that
Yeah.
is the game of the week too, don't you
Yeah.
think? Ohio State, Texas,
Yeah.
and the road trip of the week is Penn State Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl, which I will be at.
All right.
So looking forward to that. Should be a lot of fun. A couple of my friends here from Maryland are coming,
All
meeting
right.
me at the game. I'm gonna go to the game. Um, and but I'm gonna be there kind of helping out with my mom all week. But I'm carving
So it'll
out
be a
some
good
time.
break.
Yeah, I'm carving out some time to be able to go to this
Right.
game.
Right.
And my good friend Eric Palms has so kindly made sure that we were taken care of, man.
All right.
Um, all right. Anything else, Nick?
No, I think that's it.
It's a good
Just
week.
I just have to get over the shame of the Oregon bet.
Yeah. Yeah, the shame of the Oregon bet. I think you're not alone in that shame, man. I mean, I think a lot of people had Oregon.
Yeah.
Um, but Ohio State, I mean, I don't think we saw what what's possessed in Ohio State, what they're playing for. I
Right.
think after that Michigan loss, that might have been the best thing that happened to them, to be honest with you.
Right.
They're fired up, man. I mean, they are
Right.
fired up after that Michigan loss, which they should be. They
Right.
should have no business losing to Michigan. Neither did
Right.
Alabama. I mean, Michigan
Right.
rolls off two big W's at the end.
Right.
Is Sharon Moore got a long-term deal now?
I don't know.
Because one of my Michigan buddies told me that he's only on a 1-year contract.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, they better lock him up because he's like big game Sharon, right? He's
Right.
he's like Bob Stoops. He's like
Right.
big game Sharon. He wins all the big games. Remember, he went to Happy Valley last week and what last year won that game. I don't
Right.
remember that. He ran the
Yeah.
ball every time in the second half on Penn State, and they couldn't stop him.
Right.
All right. So great show again, Nick. Next week I'm going to be there. We will probably do the show on Friday after the are both games on Thursday. I think one's Thursday and Friday, right?
Yeah, it can't be both. It can't be on both on Thursday. Need better ratings. Need a
Right.
better ratings
I
night.
think it's Thursday and Friday.
I
So we'll
mean,
do the show up next weekend.
okay.
Or about time next week to do the show.
Okay.
All right, man. See you.
All right. Take care, brother.
Bye bye. That was
Good
fun.
seeing you.